Welcome to Bird Camp Radio, where the coveys rise from the high pines, marsh valleys, sagebrush seas, and the shelf rock ledges. Here at camp, the fire's always glowing, the dogs are never far, and the stories of birds, wild places, and the upland life are just beginning. This is Bird Camp Radio. Welcome everyone to the Bird Camp Radio podcast. I'm your host, Kellen Golightly, and we're excited to be here once again for our 7th episode of Bird Camp Radio. Everyone, we're excited to jump back into Central Oregon, where we have our friend Griffin Webb. Griffin sent in his bio earlier, and we'd love to share that with you guys. Growing up in Central Oregon, Griffin Webb has been an avid upland hunter since the age of 10. What began as pheasant hunts with his dad right out the back door quickly grew into a deep passion for chasing chukar. At 22, shortly after his college baseball career came to an end, he brought home his first German Shorthaired Pointer, Remi, a moment that solidified a lifelong dedication to bird dogs and upland hunting. Now 39, he's on his third GSP, Lainey, who continues the legacy of drive and partnership in the field. A lifelong Central Oregon native, he has been married for 14 years and is the proud father of 3 kids, ages 12, 11, and 5. When he's not behind a dog or climbing chukar hills, he's an avid big game hunter, a dedicated steelhead angler, and a committed travel baseball coach for his kids' teams. His life revolves around family, the outdoors, and the traditions that shaped him, making him a natural fit for the upland community and a compelling guest for Bird Camp Radio. Griffin, we're excited to have you on. How are you, man? That's good. We're doing good here, and we're excited to have you on here and have you share your story with us. But before we get started, you guys know the drill. With every guest, play our quick game of rapid fire around the campfire, which consists of 10 questions that we ask as fast as we can. It's timed, and we have a leaderboard. So if you're ready for that.
Yeah, I am ready when you are.
All right, here we go. Favorite wild bird to chase?
Chukar.
Most challenging bird?
Chukar.
Favorite dog trait?
Points.
Best bird for eating?
Quail.
Go-to field snack?
Honey stingers.
Chukars or Hungarian partridge?
Chukars.
Favorite month to hunt?
December.
Game bag or vest?
Game bag.
Solo hunt or with a group?
Solo.
Lead shot or steel shot?
Lead.
All right, there we go. That's all 10 questions. As everybody knows, we'll release that time at the end of the podcast. I just need to ask a quick question. So, for your go-to field snack, what was it again? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Honey stinger waffles.
Honey stinger waffles. What is that?
They're, I don't know, kind of like an energy type honey. They're Honey Stingers, the brand, and there's little waffles.
Okay.
Little foil packs, and you open them up, and yeah, gets you some good energy. You're ready to climb up the next hill.
Well, we need to look into those then. I'm always looking for good snacks.
Small and light, and carry a little punch to them.
That's awesome. Now, kind of just segueing into your bio, as many of you guys know, what we like to do on this podcast is really focus on the uplander and their bio and who they are and why they stick with the upland tradition. And here today we have Griffin with us from Central Oregon. He's been hunting majority of your life, your whole life, right?
Yeah, as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and we just want to dive into that, get to know you. We'd like to start into the beginning of everything. You growing up in Central Oregon. How did growing up in Central Oregon shape you as a hunter and who you are now?
Really, it just started me with going out with my dad. Literally right out our door. We lived on a little bit of land, but we had railroad tracks below us that offered some good cover many years ago, and there was more pheasants available. So we were able to just walk down there, and a lot of Saturday mornings, it was first thing we do when we woke up is went on a little pheasant hunt right out the back door.
Man, it doesn't get much better than that. I remember for us growing up, we lived in a little rural town. I mean, we still live in the same county. Lived in this county my whole life, but it's pretty rural. And our city would give out pheasant tags for the locals each year, and it was always a great opportunity. All of the farmers would, for like a week, let anybody that had one of those tags just hunt their property for pheasants. And I remember growing up getting the pheasant hunt with my dad and my siblings and the dogs, and man, it was just a great experience.
Yeah, that was kind of my main childhood memory right there. It was just going up the back door. And even before I started hunting, it feels like I would I remember just even tagging along with my dad in those little spots. So I was pretty excited to get a gun in my own hands because I believe I was 10 years old.
Wow, you got to start young and get going right into it.
Yeah, definitely.
So for you, you grew up from at a young age being able to have a gun in your hand, going out there with dad, getting to hunt. When did you kind of realize that upland hunting was going to become a lifelong passion for you?
Kind of from the start. Um, it seemed like it was something I just always looked forward to as a young kid. Fall came around even as early as like we used to have youth pheasant hunts in our area, and I mean they were just pin raised pheasants, but I always even looked forward and made my dad sign me up to go on those hunts. And that just kind of started the drive, was going out there, seeing the dog work, and having an opportunity to shoot a bird.
Oh yeah, like personally, and we can get into this later, but for the ones that don't know, Griffin here and myself, we both grew up playing baseball, and I know for me, at an early age, I got to do a lot of hunting, but I know as I took on the latter years in high school and stuff, sports kind of took over my life, um, going competitively and stuff like that. And it wasn't until ever after high school I was able to really jump back into it. I mean, not having baseball and the sports that I was playing with, it's like, man, I kind of had like an identity crisis, not gonna lie. I know for me personally, getting back into hunting gave me my purpose back again, almost again, I would say. Um, I don't know. It's like it's giving me like a path and being able to be physical like it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, very much. Yeah, that was one thing I was never willing to give up was my hunting, even through sports, and that's I think what helped me enjoy baseball so much was it was in the spring, and then of course I would go do some fall stuff, but there was always opportunities for me to go hunting.
Yeah, that's great. So as we've seen in your bio, you bought your first dog at 22. Remi, right?
Yep. I was actually still going to college, and my parents got him for me as a birthday present. And so he came, he lived with me all summer, and then came back to school with me the following year. And yeah, I was in college and driving 3-4 hours I don't know, it's probably every couple of weekends, and we were going out chukar hunting.
Wow. So did you grow up hunting with dogs? Did your dad have dogs, or was that your first dog?
Yeah, no, my dad grew up with short hairs as well. And that's kind of what started it was I got to see him go through a few different short hairs, and I just knew after I don't know, his latest short hair. I knew that's the dog I wanted and was always going to have was a short.
No, that's awesome. It's kind of that's how I've seen it. I mean, I grew up with Labradors, and there's always going to be a special part in my heart for me with the Labradors, and I don't know. I'm looking into other things, but we'll see what ends up happening when we're able to actually get dogs. We'll see.
Yeah, 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 you love them, and it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. So, with that being your first dog, what were some of the things that you learned from Remi? Being able to hunt, learn, and grow together. Some first experiences for you.
Being my first dog, that dog was spoiled. He was a college dog that I got to see the whole college life, which included little beer pong parties and you name it, he was there with everybody. So he got brought around everything, and we also got to go do a lot of long drives to make it out to the hunting trips. So he was definitely a dog that was tough to train because I wasn't quite ready for what was all involved in the training part of it.
Right. But he definitely got to be one of the boys, that's for sure.
Yes, he sure did. Yeah, he had a spot in the house with, I think I had 4 roommates, and they all cared for him just as much.
That's awesome. So now, years later, you now have Lainey.
She's about a year and a half, almost. I guess she'll be 2 in February. She's a high desert short hair. And then I have my other dog who is 10. His name is Trig. And he is a radback short hair.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got quite the age separation right now, but she's learning from him, which has been really good.
No, that's great. It's always great when they have one to learn from and grow. So I mean, you've had experience with GSPs from at a young age with your dad, and now having your own. What is something that you would give, like information wise, a training tip for maybe some new hunters or hunters that have been in it with GSPs as a GSP owner?
I think each one of them is completely different. You'll get some really wild ones, and you'll get some that are just awesome dogs from the start. So they're good dogs though, but they have to be well mannered, and they got to be trained right.
Right. Like you said, I feel like that's kind of across the board with dogs. Growing up with labs, I mean, you had your absolutely crazy, just go, 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 always on the grind, and you always had some of those ones that were a little bit more to themselves. And I mean, each dog has its own thing, and being able to tailor your training and your experiences with them, that's what it takes. So I feel like that's really good information.
Yeah, and even each one of their hunting styles vary so much. I think with my 3 dogs, every one of them has been just a little bit different in how they hunt. So it's kind of been that a learning experience in itself too, is figuring out how to hunt the way they like to hunt.
Right. And that's what makes it so much fun. And especially for you guys over in Oregon, I've had the opportunity to speak with, I think, 3. I think you're the 3rd one from Oregon now that I've been able to talk to. And man, I've learned so much more about Oregon than I ever thought I would, especially with upland game there. And it's amazing what you guys have going on there with your public land, the bird species that you guys are able to hunt, and that's something that I want to segue into is what you're able to hunt there. I mean, from what I know, it seems like you're very chukar driven. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's my focus is chukar. And I always like to do kind of a warm-up hunt for the year and take the dogs out for some wild pheasants.
That's awesome. So with your guys' pheasant hunt, when does your pheasant hunt run?
It's like the second weekend of October, and it goes to, I believe, the 31st of December.
Okay.
This pheasant. Yep.
What about your
And
chukar season?
Chukar starts the same time, but it goes till January 31st.
Okay, so you guys kind of have. I find that fun with this, kind of fascinating to be able to see what the different timelines are when it comes to hunts here in Utah. It's quite different, honestly, in a lot of different things. I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to talk to another guy he had me come onto his podcast, and he's out of Illinois, and man, he was talking about their ways of things and their tags, their limits, hunting seasons, and I'm like, wow, that's completely different. I never really think of those kinds of things, so it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
So, do you prefer hunting chukars or pheasants?
I prefer Chukars.
Nice.
Yep, they're definitely my go-to. What I do like about where I go pheasant hunting is, like last weekend, I went as my first warm-up hunt, and I was able to take my two boys with me, and they were able to tag along on that a lot easier than they could on a chukar hunt. So that's kind of my differences for it. When I go chukar hunting, it's mostly alone, and it's up and down country.
Right. Yep. That's chukars for you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean pheasants is great, and I can get the family out and kind of enjoy the trip and get the dogs warmed up and their noses going. But when November rolls around and December, January, it's time to hit the hills.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Um, Going off of that, you brought up your kids. Definitely a big family man. How do you make that family and balance and hunting? How do you make all that come together? You're quite busy with the job, and then you're as well coaching your sons and your kids. How do you kind of make that balance between you, the family, and everything?
It's finding the right. I don't know, hunting wise, I get to find the right hunts to take the family on. And then I have an amazing wife who gives me a lot of freedom when I want to go out and do my own hunt as well. And I guess one thing that works for me is one of my spots. I can run up on a Saturday morning and get to a hunting spot in an hour, go hunt till noon, and be back by 2 o'clock on a Saturday without being gone for too much.
Oh yeah, that's great. Being able to be close enough that you can just hop on out, get a few hours in, and come right back.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a lot of that, especially as our basketball season rolls in and the kids are both playing basketball on Saturdays and Sundays. I can run out and get a couple hours in and be back in time for games. So that's kind of an important one for me, is just being able to get out when I can get out, but be back for family time.
Right. Being able to have that nice balance. Are your kids showing quite a bit of interest in hunting, or still warming up to it?
Oh no, they are definitely interested. My daughter had her first big game tags this year, so she's getting there. My son is also very interested, so he keeps telling me he's ready.
He's ready for it.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's always a good sign. So, you've hunted before and then becoming a father. How has hunting changed for you since becoming a dad of three? Much of a difference, or just adapted?
So we actually had kids about, I think we were married for a year, and then my wife got pregnant. So it was a pretty quick turnaround as kids were coming. So my hunting hasn't changed too much, where it's like I said, I can get out and go for a few hours and come back and I am available. So
Oh,
I kind of cater that for them and for my wife that I'm going to go out in the morning, but I'll be back in the afternoon type thing.
Right. Have that right from the get-go and kind of set that straight. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we know that you're a big uplander. I mean, hunting chukar out there in Oregon, but as well, I mean, there's a lot of other things that you love to do as well. Big game and steelhead fishing are some of your other passions. You want to talk about that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I don't think my bird hunting starts until my big game season ends. So, like for this year, I had an archery deer tag here in Oregon. So, month of September, I stayed busy trying to chase deer. But also, I used that to scout. My wife and daughter actually had a rifle deer tag in that same area I was archery hunting in. So, that was my scouting time and hunting time. And then right after their rifle deer seasons, I took off to Idaho from the Frank Church for a deer and elk hunt and came back for about a week, and then I had an Oregon elk tag. So, and then last weekend was my first bird hunt.
Wow, so you're just going all the time.
Yep. It starts in September and it ends in late January.
That's not
my your seasons as long as you.
Yeah, that's not a bad gig at all, man.
Yeah.
Hard to complain about that. So if you had to choose any of those three, I mean, you got your big game hunting, you got your upland hunting, and then you steelhead fish. Which one are you choosing out of those?
I don't. I choose them all. My weakness. They all have their positives and negatives. I can go and cast and blast in October and November, which is hard to beat when you can go chukar hunt in the mornings and then spend the afternoons on the river catching steelhead. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I don't think I could choose anything.
No, that's a good choice.
Yeah, it's all hard. That's why I try to spread the season out as long as I can.
No, that's awesome. I don't know if you heard, I think it was 2 podcasts before, we had an Oregon uplander who was a guide on Hell's Canyon. Have you ever had the opportunity to hunt over there? I'm just curious.
I have spring bear hunted over there, but I have never done anything else over there. Kind of been one of my spots I want to go chase chukar in.
Yeah, that's a cool opportunity. I've been kind of looking into it, so I was just curious if you've hunted it. But spring bear, huh? That's quite exciting.
Yeah, that's always a tough one for me because I'm coaching baseball, and like last year I drew a tag and I had 3 days to go over and kill a bear. It took me 2, so I made the most of it.
Made the most of it, got it done.
Yes.
Got a lot of experience on just getting it done and getting back home to the family.
Yeah, that was it. I think I dropped the kids off Friday morning to go to school, and I drove whatever it was, 7 hours to get over there, and hunted Friday night and Saturday morning, and killed my bear. I think Saturday about 2:00 in the afternoon, and then I left and got home by Sunday around noon to watch my daughter's softball game.
Man, that's it right there. That's life.
Yeah.
No, that's great, man. Well, before we wrap it up, there's a few questions that we always like to ask our guests before closing out, and one of those is, what kind of piece of advice would you give a new upland hunter?
I think it requires a lot of, I guess you would say, like foot travel. You gotta have patience and cover the country to find the birds.
Yeah, I mean I mean, I brought this up in the last podcast. This past year we've had the opportunity to kind of expand where we hunt, and my whole life I've grown up hunting pretty much the same area or the same unit, and finally we're just like, you know what, we need to get out and see some country, get out and find some new spots. I mean, here in Utah, we are blessed with a lot of public land and a lot of areas that we can hunt as uplanders, so it's been a great opportunity just to get out there and get birds, even better.
Yeah.
Being able to see some of the land that's out there, it's like, wow, I don't know why I've been doing this more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of been one of my goals too, is just to explore a lot more areas that I know I can chukar hunt in.
Right.
And got my favorites, but nice to go out there and go another 10 miles down the road and find some new spots.
Yeah, you can never complain about trying to find a new spot and hunt some new country. Another question that many like to hear is, do you have any advice for any new bird dog owners? I mean, you being a bird dog owner for how many plus years, you got anything for them?
They will all train. I know they say there's bad habits in dogs, but every dog has a little quirk, and you can train them all with just a little bit of help and will.
Have a little bit of patience and work with what they got.
Yes, yep. Every dog's going to be a little bit different in one way or another, and I think you just kind of have to adapt with them.
No, I completely agree, and it's been great being able to talk with you today, man. Get to know you a little bit more and your experiences and your stories. It's been great to get to know you. But just one last question: what does upland hunting mean to you today, and why do you continue to keep doing it and passing it along to your children?
It's a great way just to get out and go enjoy the outdoors. Watching your dogs work is probably the most exciting thing about upland hunting. I don't care if you don't bag a bird as part of chukar hunting is, you're going to miss a lot. So being out there, enjoying it, getting to watch your dogs work is all the icing on the cake. And I think, it's something that we have, especially where I'm at in Oregon, we have a lot of public lands, and it's all places we can go explore and enjoy and be able to learn to love it, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better, man. Everyone, you've heard it. Griffin, thank you so much for everything that you shared with us today. I feel like there's a lot of good insights for hunters who've been in this for as long as you've been in it and been doing it from day one, and then as well the new advice for those new hunters as well. We just appreciate your time and your dedication to be able to come on to this podcast and share your stories with everyone. So thank you again.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. It was really good to talk to you and all the good stuff we got going on here.
Of course, thank you. Before you go, you know the drill. We need to release Griffin's time for the rapid fire around the campfire game. Griffin, your time was 42.03 seconds, which now puts you in 5th out of the 7 that we've had on the podcast now. Our leaders are still Tanner Cruson in 1st place at 35.52, Jimmy Humes at 35.91, and 3rd place, Eli Howard at 36.01. Remember, you can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts to listen to the show. You can find us on social media, Birdcamp Radio, on Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok as well. So we now are on 3 different platforms on social media. As well, go and check out our new e-commerce store, the Bird Camp Radio store. You can find the link to the store on my personal Instagram and Facebook page. You can find it on the Bird Camp Radio pages as well, along with TikTok. We have been posting about it, so reach out, find it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you again. You've been listening to Bird Camp Radio, where the high pines, marsh valleys, sagebrush seas, and shelf rock ledges always call us back. Until next time, keep your dogs close, your shot true, and your campfire stories ready to share. We'll see you back at camp. Don't miss out on the next episode, where we'll host our next guest on the podcast. You don't want to miss this one. Thank you.